We're standing outside the British Airways maintenance hangar at London Heathrow, where Concorde Alpha Delta has been prepared for an exciting trip around the world. We will be repositioning the aircraft from London to New York and then work our way westward around the world, returning to New York some 23 days later. Just a little bit of history on why these flights took place. After Concorde's introduction in the late 70s, British Airways was quite unhappy with the return on investment. They just weren't making money with the program. So they put together a group of people at British Airways, pilots and others, whose goal was to take a look at the Concorde program and find ways of making it profitable. They basically came up with two suggestions which were later implemented with great success. The first one was to increase fares, quite substantially actually. They noticed in their surveys of executives and movie stars and rock stars, etc., who were flying Concorde on a regular basis, that they had no idea what it cost to fly on the aircraft, as their secretaries and managers and travel agents had been making the bookings. And they found out to their surprise that the passengers actually thought that the cost of the tickets were much more expensive than what they were actually charging. So they very quickly increased fares to match the expectations and help turn a profit on the program. The second thing they did was open up Concorde to charter flights, and that's what this particular flight was. It was a charter in 1999 that took a group of passengers around the world at an estimated cost of around $50,000 US. So what I'll be doing is flying each of the legs in order, trying to simulate as best I can what actually took place during that particular around the world tour. And fortunately there was some video that was taken for the BBC of that particular tour, so I'm able to give you kind of the closest simulation possible of what really took place. I'll be using similar weather, where possible similar runways, certainly parking at the same gate as Concorde parked, and departing at approximately the same time of day as they actually did in 1999. Another thing I want to mention is that during these flights they won't be a full flight like my first Concorde video, where I go through every checklist and go through the whole flight and make it a very long video. I'm going to highlight different sections of the aircraft during each of the flights, but set it up in such a way that after you watch all of the series you will get essentially a full flight or more. And this will be a group of shorter videos, a little more fun, and just kind of highlighting the capabilities of the aircraft. I'll also be using the newly released Concorde Performance Systems program, which will help me with my weight and balance and fuel calculations. The last thing I want to mention is that in each of the videos I will highlight all of the scenery that I'm using, all of the add-ons I'm using. I've purchased a whole bunch of add-ons particularly for this series, so that we have kind of the best add-ons available, both freeware and payware, for the airports. And I will highlight those in each of the videos. If you have questions, you'll have to just take a look at the credits and you'll be able to get the full listing. Alright, so it's time now to take a look at the route that we'll be taking around the world. I just wanted to mention that getting Concorde around the globe is not as simple as picking a number of really cool places to visit on the planet. The people planning the trips have to keep in mind the limited range of Concorde, the inability of Concorde to fly supersonic over populated areas, and also the need to land on runways that are suitable to handle Concorde. That's not just runways that are suitable in terms of their length, but also in terms of how smooth they are. For example, in Australia, the runway at Perth was deemed to be inadequate because it wasn't smooth enough. So all of these factors are considered when developing the Concorde route around the world, and you'll notice that some of the stops are simply fuel stops and others are sightseeing stops for our passengers. So without further ado, here's our route.